Hey you guys, it is me, it is I. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ivy, also known as Ivy's Creepy Corner here on YouTube, and today we're going to be talking about some anticipated brand new tarot decks that are coming out in 2026. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I kind of have these all over the place, so they might not be in order, so I apologize ahead of time if they are not. But let's go ahead and get started. The first one that I have here is a tarot deck called The Art of the Intuitive Tarot. And this is a deck by Jessica Stone. So this is a tarot deck that is by this like world-renowned like metaphysical healer named Jessica Stone. And basically it's supposed to have like a minimalist aesthetic in order to inspire like your intuitive side to come up with the meanings for the cards instead of relying on, traditional wise. Now, the fact that it is very minimal, everybody is different, right? I find that if it's a little bit harder to pick up on symbolism and using your own intuition with that symbolism if it is a little bit more minimalistic. But this is a good one to like give a shot to see if to kind of help not just with your intuition, but maybe even like your clairabilities. So maybe like you'll hear something like, you'll use clairvoyance, claircognizance. Maybe something will come to you from its minimalistic illustrations. So I don't know, even though it is very minimalistic, I think it is kind of cute, and maybe this is something that you can use your clairs on, your claircognizance, your clairvoyance gifts, and see if you get anything from it. The next tarot deck is one that I think is so cute, and it is called Gen Z Tarot, and this one comes out January 13, 2026. Now, I am not Gen Z. I am a millennial. However, I do understand Gen Z lingo because I grew up around a lot of Gen Z. And I think this is still very relevant, even if you are, because I'm not like an older millennial. I'm more of like a newer, I guess, millennial. So I feel like it still speaks to me as a millennial, even though I am a millennial, because I still understand these things, right? So for example, like the glow up, women in STEM, zaddy, like this is something that even millennials I feel like say. So I love it. I think it's so cute and so gorgeous. Like this is one that I definitely have an interest in getting because it's just so, this is like a deck that has so much symbolism and so much like modern relevancy that I feel like would be so easy to use in like readings, especially when you're doing readings to millennials or Gen Z, and things like that. Also, if you guys look in the upper corners, it also has like the horoscope signs and the element that each card is associated with. I also like the colors because you can use that with like the color system and get messages from that. You can even use it with the chakras because there's yellow, there's green, there's blue, which all speaks to a different chakra. So I think I don't know, I really like it. I'm not gonna lie, I really like it. So the next one that I want to talk about is the Whimsical Witch Tarot in a tin. So it's a one that comes in a little tin. It says it's a colorful 78 tarot deck in a charming keepsake tin, vibrant comic book style art, food for all ages, includes booklet by Helene Lespangard. That is such a long name. So this one's gonna come out on January 30th, 2026, and it's gonna be sold for $19.95. I feel like the price of tarot is also going up. This one is $19.95, so I guess it's not too much, but I feel like we're starting to see tarot decks that cost more than the usual decks. I feel like they're definitely going up in price because before you can even find decks that are under like $10. This is so weird. Okay, so if you guys look at the photos, it shows the Whimsical Witch Tarot, and then the next one is like a completely different tarot deck that it's showing. It says Enchanted Real Oracle. So it's literally like showing a completely different deck, which is so weird. Anyways, so going into the Whimsical Witch Tarot, I love this art style. It reminds me of like Adventure Time, or you know what I mean? Like it gives me like Adventure Time vibes, or I'm trying to think what else has that sort of like similar like animation style. It gives me that, it just gives me that vibe. Like I can't think of anything else but like literally Adventure Time. It's just so fun. I really love the fun colors, just how colorful it is, just the art in general. It's just so cute. I really like it. It definitely has very humorous comic book style art and vibrant neon colors. I definitely see that. This is also a beginner friendly deck, and I can honestly really see that because it closely resembles the original Rider-Waite Tarot, which is the deck that when you're first learning like traditional tarot is the one that people usually recommend to start off with when you're learning tarot. Can definitely see why this one would be a beginner deck. The next deck that I want to talk about comes out on January 31st, and it is called the Blood Moon Tarot. And this is by Sam Gway. This is going to be $37.95. So like I said, another one that's a little bit more on the higher price point. And this one has a very like dark fantasy sort of vibe. I really like it. The back of the cards are absolutely gorgeous. You have this like maroon and gold that gives it a very like luxurious feel. Just so cute. Like the cards, if you look at the artwork, they're just absolutely gorgeous. Just highly like just super like dark fantasy sort of like vibes behind it. I absolutely love the artwork behind it. And instead of it being like the wands, the cups, this and that, it's the skins, it's the songs, it's the dreams, and then the honeys. So the 4 suits is honey, skins, songs, and dreams. Those are like the 4 suits. So I'm assuming dreams is going to be like the swords. I'm assuming songs is going to be cups. Skins is probably going to be wands, and honey is probably going to be pentacles. At least that's the vibe that I'm getting, also just clearly from the illustrations and just the colors that they're using, the color scheme. So I really like that one. So if you want something that has, it definitely feels like this is a little bit more of a, especially how they changed like the wording. So instead of it being swords and this and that, definitely a little bit more of not so much like a beginner deck. This is more like an intermediate or like advanced deck. But if you are a little bit more advanced into your tarot journey, definitely one that you might want to check out. The next one is going to be the Light and the Dark Tarot and Oracle deck. So this is both a tarot and oracle deck. And this one comes out February 24th. This one, again, is another one that I love. The artwork. The artwork is just so pretty. Oh my gosh. I opened up Roblox. The artwork is just so beautiful. Like, it's so stunning. This is another one that I feel like, again, the colors, the illustrations, it just has so much symbolism behind it that you can pick up little clues of different messaging, not necessarily have to rely on like traditional meanings behind the cards, but if you wanted to use your intuition to obtain more detailed, deeper messages, you can definitely do that with this deck. And the next one is going to be the Tarot of Tides by Stephen Hutton. This is The Adventures of a Duck Named Bob. What? Okay, so it's this like little, oh my god, it's a duck. It's literally a duck. And the colors are so cute. So definitely, for some reason, this, maybe it's because it just came out, but it reminds me of like Hazbin Hotel, and it reminds me of like something Lucifer. Like if Lucifer from Hazbin Hotel were to get a tarot deck, it definitely would be like this deck just because of the rubber duck. It's so funny. It looks so cute. The back of the cards are also really beautiful, and I'm surprised the back of the cards do not have a duck on them. But it's so cute. So that's a different one if you want something different. And like I said, this one comes out January 30th, $23.95 USD. The next one that we're going to talk about is the Enchanted Tarot, the 35th anniversary edition. This one's going to be $34.99. So again, like I said, tarot decks I feel like are going up. This one's going to be released, I think I already said it, March 10th, 2026. And this is another one that has very classic artwork, almost like it's honestly just really pretty and like stunning. the classical artwork behind it. This is one that personally, if I were to use this deck, it would be a deck, because I have different tarot decks for different things. Like I have a tarot deck that I use specifically just for my spirit guides. I have a tarot deck that I use specifically just for me and my higher self. I have various tarot decks that I use for love readings versus career readings versus shadow work readings. And then I have tarot decks that I use specifically just for communicating with spirits, and this would probably be one of those decks. I have only one deck that I use to talk to spirits that I feel like I get really strong messages with. And I feel like I need to have a wider range of decks to work with spirits, because I feel like that same deck is not going to work for every spirit that I communicate with. And so having a more expanded variations or decks for spirit to kind of tell me what deck it wants to use would definitely be very beneficial. And I feel like this would be one of them because of its like classical sort of like look to it. The next tarot deck is called the Shaman's Tarot, and this is by Alberto Violdo with Patricia Gift, and artwork is by Boris Quinteros. And this one has a very like shamanistic sort of like illustrations, I should say. This is combining traditional tarot archetypes with the sacred symbols to present in one of the world's most ancient wisdom traditions, shamanism. So before the dawn of time, before spaces and galaxies were formed, there were sacred symbols. Then the sages read the signs of destiny in the sacred symbols and heard the voices in the spirit world. Now these symbols have been lost to many of us, but not the sages from the Andes and the Amazon, cartographers of the invisible world. So I love that they took like this very ancient practice of shamanism, which have always found like very fascinating, and combined it with like a little bit more of like inspiration with the Rider-Waite and made it into this very unique deck with very interesting illustrations. This and this one, I don't know if I already mentioned it, this one also comes out March 10th, and this one's going to be $29.99. Now the last, two more that I want to talk about. Number one is the deck that I for sure have been dying to get my hands on, and I just keep forgetting to order it. But I don't know if it just wasn't out, or maybe, and it's finally coming out, or I just missed it the first time they released it. But that is none other than the Patch Tarot. So it's a Spirit Science. If you guys have ever watched Spirit Science, which I used to be, like that's literally one of the things that kickstarted my spiritual journey, was like Spirit Science channel. And this one's called specifically the Patch Tarot. And I love, like, this is the creator of Spirit Science, definitely does a lot of research and has a lot of knowledge into so many different practices when it comes to spirituality. And he definitely took his time into researching each and every one of these cards. He's even like talked about it in a video. I can like link it somewhere here. And so he definitely did his research. So each and every single card is going to be jam-packed with symbolism, with different things that you can use to get so much more deeper, detailed answers. And I feel like this is just a overall very just universal deck. It's still a little bit loosely based off the Rider-Waite. You can kind of tell where it grabs its inspirations of the Rider-Waite while still having its own very unique take. I feel like this one can be something that's kind of borderline like beginner intermediate tarot. I don't feel like this is necessarily like just this is your first tarot deck, I'm going to start here, but definitely if you've are a little bit familiar with the Rider-Waite tarot, it's definitely going to be a deck that you can easily get messages from, especially if you want to use intuition and symbolism and about other aspects of spirituality like the yin and yang, and your chakras. I feel like you can get so much more detailed messages behind it. So I love it. I really, really want this one. Like, this is like the number one deck that I want. Now, lastly, but certainly not least, the one that I want to talk about is called the Jane Austen Tarot, and this one comes out on February 8th, 2026. And while I have not read anything by Jane Austen, and it only has one photo. This is another one that I feel like I really want, due to the fact that it has that very classic look. And I feel like this is another one that when I talk to spirits, this is another one that I feel like they might gravitate towards, because again, depending on where it is that I'm communicating with these spirits, they might be a little bit more inclined to pick up a deck from that looks a little bit more closer to like their era versus a more modern looking deck, if that makes any sense. So I do want to have like various decks that, you know, depict different eras of time that, you know, the spirits might be a little bit more geared toward gravitating towards, because, you know, it speaks a lot more to them. I hope that makes sense. So I really want that one specifically myself for that reason. So if you are somebody that works with spirits, or you use tarot to talk to spirits, definitely I might be something that's like up your alley, you know, depending on what spirits you're talking to. So, and then especially how I'm going to be coming out with a lot of paranormal investigations. I already have like 3 lined up for you guys that I've already done, and definitely going to do a lot more in the future, because it's something that I'm very passionate about and I'm loving it, and I communicate with these spirits with these cards. I just feel like having more of a variety is just really going to help with that. So anyways, that's it, you guys. That is all of the decks that I am highly anticipating that are coming out, I guess, the first quarter of 2026. I hope you guys liked these decks as much as and you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Anyways, if you guys haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about tarot, oracle, paranormal stuff, spirituality. That's what this channel is all about. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!